So happy to bring him in here. You know him as Luke Gallows in WWE. Most recently, Director of Chaos, Doc with TNA Impact Wrestling. We're talking to Drew Hankinson. Drew, how are you?
I'm good. I'm the suntan biker, man. It's good to be here.
Where are you currently tanning at right now?
I am tanning at a undisclosed location in Tampa, Florida.
I thought you were going to say parts unknown or something. That's good.
Well, that's where I spent a lot of my time, especially early on.
Of course.
My wrestling career was parts unknown. But then I moved to anywhere I damn well pleased, and then from there to Georgia. So
you can follow him on Twitter at ImpactDoc. And, well, Drew, I guess I'm going to kind of let you just kind of open it up right at the start here. A lot of people very curious. They recently saw you for the last, 6, 7, 8 months with Aces and Eights on TNA Impact Wrestling, and you are no longer with them. So go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, no, I signed a 1-year deal with them last July the 12th, and the deal expired July the 12th of this year. And, we could not come to an agreement, but I have no ill will toward any of the people in TNA in the office or the performers. Is actually a great place to work. I have a lot of good friends there that I hope to continue to keep doing well. It was a business decision, so I think both sides kind of, they were up for what I wanted, and I didn't really, wasn't in agreement with going forward. So we decided to amicably part ways, but I'm sure that there's an absolute, possibility of me returning there in the future.
Well, it's good you did what's best for business for you. In terms of the storyline there, working with Aces and Eights, was that something that was pitched to you? Were you on board with that, or did you bring that to them in terms of being a part of that deal, or what can you tell us about that?
Kind of how that all came about was I went to India for the Ring Ka King promotion that was basically a TNA spinoff over there, and I portrayed an outlaw biker character that Dutch Mantel had pitched to me. Him and Jeff Jarrett were doing the booking over there at the time, and I really, really enjoyed doing it. It was really close to home for me, and I grew up around motorcycles and riding bikes and all that stuff, so I really felt like I was kind of getting to be myself doing that more than anything I had done, previously character-wise. So it was a really nice fit, and it worked so well over there that, they had the idea for the biker gang thing, and I think that Eric Bischoff actually brought my name up, and I went down to Orlando, and we worked it out, and then, the rest is kind of history from there, but I had a good time doing that.
There's a lot of, and it's stuff that doesn't involve you. Obviously, there's a lot of things right now with TNA and the news and such. But what can you say? What was the best part about being there? We'll put a positive because as you said, there are, you have friends there, and and as I've always said, we always need as many wrestling companies as possible to make the business and
absolutely. I hope to see TNA thrive. And the best part about being there was I love wrestling, I love performing, but I really enjoyed going to work there. Mike Knox is one of my best friends in this business from day one, and getting to have him in the group there with me, and then I got close with everybody, to Devon and to Wes Briscoe, to Garrett Bischoff, who I just spent the last few days fishing with down here. It was a really good camaraderie, and they have a really great locker room there. A good bunch of guys who want to see everyone improve and to help the company. And I think that that's always, always, always very important for any wrestling locker room. And that is one positive thing that they have going there, is that everybody kind of wants to see each other do well, which I think is really important.
We're talking to Drew Hankinson. You can follow him on Twitter at ImpactDoc. Of course, you most recently knew him as the Director of Chaos in Aces Eights, and of course had a couple different chapters in WWE, which I want to kind of go into that right now and kind of work our way through there. Mm-hmm. I want to go back to I guess this would have been maybe about 2006, the Fake Kane, and that was when you were
Kane.
You were working with WWE's developmental, which I believe was Deep South at the time, and then you came up and you worked under the mask as the Imposter Kane, and while I think this was at the same time they were kind of building the Kane's movie premiere. If I remember correctly, and please tell us how this goes, it seemed like that this was set up to be bigger or more drawn out than what it was, and it kind of got suddenly halted. Is that correct, or that's how?
I think that it had that feeling, but I really don't know that it. There may have been another couple of months that they had, but I don't think that there were plans to make that a long-term character, because it was done to promote See No Evil, to promote the horror movie, and to, I think, get people who hadn't seen that character in a long time familiar with it all over again. And I think that for that, it served its purpose to promote the movie. But, I mean, it was a month-long thing. People always ask about it. And, we had a good match on pay-per-view. I mean, I was 22 years old, green and nervous, and, we pulled off a pretty good match, I thought. I just think that people, the wrestling audience, it was kind of like when there was, two Undertakers. They don't really get that. So, it was what it was, but I'm not embarrassed about it or anything.
How ironic that the guy that played the fake Undertaker was also into bikes and in a biker gang at one point on TV. I think it's a...
Yeah, Chains and Doc. There you go.
What about, all right, so after we do Fake Kane, then we go into Festus, which is one of my favorites to watch. And, of course, this is a character, talk about a character that maybe can't last. You talk about the Fake Kane, obviously only has so much of a lifetime. Festus, the same kind of deal. There's got to be evolution to it eventually.
Right.
But this was just, I mean, it was entertaining with the whole ringing the bell and the entire character change. And this really shows off. Everybody was praising Mark Henry not too long ago with his award-winning acting performance and his promo as Cena. This was terrific acting.
Thank you.
Terrific acting.
It was different because, that was a Vince McMahon idea, and I wanted to please everybody there and do it to the best of my ability, but it was funny because, it's almost like you had to do the opposite. I've been down in developmental, working on being in shape and working on promos and working on, being the best in-ring, worker that I could be. And then now all of a sudden you got this mentally challenged character who isn't supposed to wrestle like everybody else. He's not supposed to be in good shape like everyone else. He's not supposed to be, pleasing to the eyes. And, I had to kind of use the help of some good people in WWE, namely Arn Anderson, kind of took it under his wing to kind of develop Festus. And I think we did a pretty good job of it. It just, like you said, a shelf life on a character like that's only going to be so long. I mean, I had hoped for a heel turn, but I don't know if that would have ended up working either. And then, of course, I ended up, getting repackaged and coming back as Luke. But I'm sure we'll cover that too.
Nope, you're segueing right in. You're doing my job here. Yeah, and I guess that it did make Festus, I guess, have even more relevancy, I guess, in your career history because they played right off of that with you joining the Straight Edge Society and working with CM Punk, which obviously that was probably the biggest and most key time for you, especially in WWE. Talk about how that went about, and seeing this was, of course, before Punk explodes with the famous pipe bomb promo. But did he seek you out? Because he spoke very positive of you since then. Did he seek you out, or again was that something that the powers to be kind of threw together?
Well, CM Punk is a close friend of mine, and at the time I was being repackaged. They were actually talking about doing a masked character. So I had gone to Orlando and hooked up with a guy that had worked for Universal Studios, and he did a really cool, basically a horror movie kind of, a costume and a mask, and it was very elaborate, like $6,000 outfit, and so I had that done, and I went down to FCW. So they wanted me to try it out in front of a crowd. Well, just for whatever reason, CM Punk and the Undertaker were there. Looking at big guys, somebody to come up and work with Punk or whatever. They had bodybuilders, they had giants and stuff like that. And I guess it kind of hit Punk. He said, "Well, there's my guy right there. We already know that he's proven he can go in the ring." And he kind of stepped up and initiated all that. I was always thankful that he did. I thought the Straight Edge Society thing was something that people remember. And anytime we did that was really, really cool.
Talking to Drew Hankinson, you can follow him on Twitter at ImpactDoc. And of course, most recently, we remember him with Director of Chaos and Aces and Eights. So, what led to was it talent cuts? Was it a contract expiring? What kind of brought the end of the WWE run for you?
It was unfortunate the way that played out. We went into SummerSlam 2010, and in that match, Joey Mercury, another really good friend of mine, tore his pectoral muscle severely in that match with the Big Show, and then due to whatever personal reasons were going on, Serena was released, like 4 or 5 days later, I think. So the Straight Edge Society kind of eliminated itself,
Right.
And then as that happened, they wanted to move Punk to Raw, so I kind of became a man without an island, without a gimmick, what was Luke Gallows at that point. So I went from, doing main event stuff to kind of seeing myself with, diminishing television time and dart matches and things like that. So I was kind of ready at that time. I thought that I needed to go some other places and work, because you got to remember, I came into WWE at 20 years old, so I had never gotten to go work Puerto Rico or go to Japan by myself or go to Europe by myself or go to Mexico by myself. So I really, really enjoyed the year and a half in between the two companies of doing that stuff. I did like 14 or 15 countries independently, and I had a full-time independent schedule as well. It was a really fun time for me to kind of grow up in the business.
Well, and you're exactly right. You broke in so young. I think people have to look at your bio and realize you still have a lot. You still have the prime of your career in terms of age-wise ahead of you. In the best you can. What is next? What is next for your career?
I got big things planned. I got some stuff coming up, and we'll talk about that down the line. But I got a very busy independent schedule for the month of August, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But keep watching, stay tuned. Follow my social media, and we'll say more when we get ready to do it.
I got to ask you one more question. It's kind of off topic from your career, but it's you've been around the business, and you've been through the indies, and you've been in both major companies, and it's been a hot topic on today's show. Give me your thoughts, if you've got to see any of them. I'm asking. Give me your thoughts on Daniel Bryan. This certainly seems to be one of those special moments in wrestling history where, I don't want to say necessarily a torch being completely passed. Cena's not going anywhere, but this certainly seems to be. I keep relating to 1996 Shawn Michaels. A new top babyface has come to play.
I think that Daniel Bryan has just gone out and proven himself at every possible turn. The guy went out there and got himself over doing his own thing, and it reminds me of CM Punk. Like he's breaking out on his own, and I think that is always a good thing for business, and people love him. So. That's always something that we as performers in the business, I always admire that and think highly of that, because all that does is help our entire business as a whole when somebody can break out like that. And happy to see a guy with a grassroots following who came up through the independents and worked hard and paid his dues, and now he's getting his just desserts. I hope the guy has a long run and gets to work on top as long as he wants to.
You can follow him on Twitter at ImpactDoc. Drew, thanks very much, and enjoy the sun tanning, and we look forward to when we run into you next.
All right, guys.